everybody, and welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Aaron Miller.
I'm Andrew Vick.
And we are ready to get down and have a talk about a lot of movies tonight. You know, we're going to get back to the more casual side of what Real Talk is all about. And so we're going to be starting off with the news of what's poppin'. Time to see what was poppin' this week. So the first thing of news that happened that we kind of discovered was that, well, as you all know, James Gunn was fired from Disney Studios and Marvel for creating Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. However, though, Warner Brothers has decided to pick him up now, and he will be now going into maybe directing Suicide Squad 2.
Oh, no.
I don't know about you, but this might be a little bit of hope for the DC universe, and we will see what happens.
I mean, with Suicide Squad, it's only up from there.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens there. But it's kind of interesting to see of where James Gunn will go in this direction of kind of saying to Disney, you know, like, hey, thanks for firing me, Disney. Due to this, we're going to see how I can do it on my own with another studio and actually let me do the things that I want to do instead of censoring the heck out of me. So it'll be interesting to see what James Gunn does with a little bit more leniency of... we've seen what he's done with Guardians of the Galaxy. He kind of pushes it to the limit of what he can do, slightly inappropriate-wise. So
I mean, only slightly, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they'd be, like, censoring the script for Guardians Volume 3, but they'd probably, like, change it.
They would change it. I don't even know if it's going to happen anymore.
Honestly, I feel like in, like, Avengers 4, like, all the Guardians are going to stay dead except for Rocket.
Yeah, due to what happened politically with James Gunn, I feel like Disney's just be like, what, Guardians of the Galaxy 3? We don't know what that is. Please forget about it and just, please buy our stuff still. So it's going to be...
like what they said in Deadpool 2. If we can't get it after 2, you killed it.
Yeah! Oh, that's a great scenario. I love that. Okay. So then you heard about this too, Andy, of the Russo brothers, speaking of Avengers, releasing more hints. Yes, you can't really see it on the screen, and that's normal.
Oh, yeah, it's just...
That's totally fine.
A big blue light.
Yeah, you guys can... yeah, it's a big blue light, and it's very hard to see. I don't know about you, but it looks to me, just to let you guys know, this is the Russo brothers pretty much teasing more of Avengers 4. So what's going to be happening there is, well, we don't know. It's just a bright blue light. Thank you.
What do you think it could be?
I've been hearing speculations that it could be something to deal with Adam Warlock. But to me, that's what I've been hearing.
Adam Warlock's more like a yellow color, you know?
Exactly. The other thing is that I just think it's a car headlight. That's what it looks like to me. If you go
I could kind of see that, but...
Yeah. If you go to the next one, it's a little bit darker. I darkened it. Yeah, there we go. You kind of get a better look at it that way, but not really.
I mean, just like a little bit.
Yeah. It looks like a car headlight. That's what it looks like.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from,
yeah.
But in my head, I think it's like part of the Avengers 4 trailer that will probably happen like at the end of the year, and I think that's the bottom of one of the letters.
Plot twist, it's just a lens flare.
Or it could be a really long Tesseract.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. It's all up in the air, but yeah, again, Russo brothers just teasing it out of the air again with Mark Ruffalo too, with all the censoring on Jimmy Fallon and stuff like that. They've been
that
really
was hilarious.
With how much they're teasing it lately. I would not be surprised in the next 2 months here or a month they release a trailer for it.
Oh yeah, like November, December. There's definitely going to be a trailer.
One. It's coming soon. That's when they dropped Avengers: Infinity War around November, so it'll be coming soon.
It was like late November, early December. They released the first trailer for Infinity War. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's just going to be creeping up on us pretty soon here. Maybe around the time Aquaman comes out, there's probably going to be a trailer.
I say probably right when Aquaman comes out. They're just going to be like, hey, nice movie.
Or like Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, they're going to be like, that was cute, Warner Brothers, but hey, we're about to drop another trailer in your face and just blow it out of the waters. Literally.
Yeah, Marvel just kind of like stayed quiet for like most of the year after like Ant-Man and the Wasp and like Comic-Con. Warner Brothers just kind of like stole most of the spotlight since Marvel was pretty much keeping a hush on it.
That was smart of Marvel, though, because they've been building it up now. Everyone's wanting to know, and everyone's like, come on, just tell me. And it's great because they left us
Give it to me now!
Yeah, give it to me now!
Give it to me!
But then I guess we should be moving on then with the next thing of what's popping, and that is the Aladdin trailer. The live-action Aladdin trailer dropped this week or last week.
It was like earlier this week.
Yeah, it was earlier this week.
Or late last week. This actually like caught me off guard. Like I kind of forgot that a live-action Aladdin was happening. Like in my head, I could have sworn like the live-action Mulan was coming first.
Right.
Like I thought it was either like this November or like next November, but I just completely forgot about the new Aladdin.
Right. Yeah, it's been so long. It's literally been like since what, 1993, since they
I think
the
so.
original animated Aladdin came out. So they did Beauty and the Beast live action. They have the Nutcracker or whatever that is coming out here.
I'm gonna ignore the Nutcracker.
I haven't heard about that at all until lately.
I like saw like some of the trailers, and it just kind of reminded me of the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland movies.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's bad.
Yeah. So that's interesting in that aspect of it. But besides with Aladdin, it's gonna be interesting. I gotta look at the trailer. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I saw it. It like came out like in the middle of the night, I think. Like they just kind of hit it.
Yeah. But what I've noticed is that they actually followed it side by side with the original animated trailer that released in 1992.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tried to line it up of how they did it with the original one that they set up. Kind of like how they just kind of teased with the main aspect, like the lamp. They did that with Beauty and the Beast too, where they just showed the rose and then Belle. They did the same thing in the trailer too, which I thought was
can kind of remember that now.
Yeah, so they're going to be doing the same thing. And speaking of the trailer, why don't we have a look at it, and right after that we'll be going to a commercial break where we will be then discussing Venom. Annie has done a great job of getting a good review of that. So that will all be here coming up here on Real Talk right after these trailers and commercials. Lies far within. The diamond in the rough.
And we are back, and just in time for my review of Venom. And I just want to say, ooh, it's not good. Like, what did you think, Aaron?
I went and saw it last Wednesday, and we'll discuss it more in a little bit after this review here and stuff like that. I didn't think it was too bad, but I think definitely from what I saw from this review we're about to see, I do agree with what you were saying, definitely.
Yeah, I have a much more negative opinion than you.
This will be a good conversation then.
Oh, yes, it will.
All right, let's check out the review.
Roll it.
In fact, this movie had such an impact on the pop culture before it was released, as well as afterwards, that I came up with a term to describe it, and I call it phantom menacing. Any film can be phantom menaced. You can be so excited for this movie. You feel like your entire life's happiness is riding on the success of this movie. You get so pumped out of your mind that you might actually cry when you get the chance to see it. Then you see it, and you leave the theater and you become in denial about how bad it actually was, and you stay in denial for many years until you eventually reveal to yourself, you know what? That wasn't that good.
Over time, I've become aware of phantom menacing that has happened to me in my lifetime. I had originally come out of misfires such as Jurassic World and Suicide Squad thinking I had previously enjoyed the film. I've also become very aware of when phantom menacing occurs in other people, and recently, I believe that phantom menacing is happening with Venom. Despite currently having a 31% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score for Venom is at a staggering 89%. That's just about the complete opposite of what happened with The Last Jedi. And from my perspective, yeah, the critics are right, the movie blows.
Eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks, so little time.
The only real bright spot in this film are the few interactions between Eddie Brock and Venom. Tom Hardy does both characters, and he has a surprising amount of chemistry with himself. Some of the things Venom says and does don't exactly match up with what was established. The film's marketing promised a movie about an anti-hero, but Venom never really does anything bad to good people. Sure, he fights some government agents, but then again, Iron Man had a chase with Air Force pilots, and nobody really considers him anything but a hero. Venom basically just does what every other superhero does, just with a lot more teeth. None of the other characters are much to brag about either. Riz Ahmed plays this billionaire scientist who is most definitely supposed to be a Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs type of character with a darker undertone. But honestly, every other time he spoke, it was like he was trying to start some big, inspiring speech, but it just gets more laughable every time he does it. He also, near the end of the film, gets bonded with another symbiote called Riot in the third act, and afterwards, he basically just becomes another one of those mirror image villains like Obadiah Stane or Killmonger. Just the good guy, but evil. Michelle Williams is also wasted in this film as Brock's ex-fiancée, and she just goes and does whatever the plot needs her to do. It's like the writers just watched Phase 1 Marvel movies and copied down notes, down to even Michelle Williams pushing a button to help in the final fight like Gwyneth Paltrow in the first Iron Man. Most of the effects are pretty garbage too. For a film with a $100 million budget, there were times when it looked like they just used a Snapchat filter. The film's action was also very weak due to how it's set up. The majority of the film is at night, Venom is a completely black character, as is Riot, so sometimes the action starts to have the quality of the latest Transformers films. The movie is filled to the brim with strange choices like this. Other bizarre additions include the post-credit scene where Woody Harrelson appears in the worst wig since Fant Four Stick and is supposed to set up Carnage. There's also this one scene in the woods when Venom bonded with Michelle Williams and then transfers back to Tom Hardy via makeout session. I'm currently showing you this moment via a comic I got from the theater I went to, and it really doesn't do the scene justice. But here's the thing, I was given this comic before I saw the movie. If I had paid attention to any of the pages before the movie started, this moment would have been spoiled for me. And that's not just for this movie, it's a real big issue with Sony movies in general. Their marketing team has absolutely no idea how not to spoil their movies. Scenes like the entirety of the car chase and when Venom assaults the robber were all shown in the trailers, so the movie has little to no surprises. It looks like I was watching a worse version of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, if that's even possible. Overall, Venom was an absolute waste of time and money. In the future, I hope Kevin Feige and the powers that be over at Disney Studios can put a stop to Sony-made Spider-Man movies, as they clearly have no idea what they're doing. Who knows, maybe in like a decade or so, Marvel will completely get the rights back and we can get Tony Revolori as Agent Venom. Please tell me I'm not the only one waiting for this to happen.
Taking a bite out of that one from Venom.
I really did.
But I totally agree with what you're saying on all of that. Like, the visual effects on that, they could have done so much better. Like, I've been watching your review a couple times over, and if you freeze frame some of the trailer scenes within that, it just looks like very poorly done CGI, and it's really sad in that aspect of it. Not to mention, like, there was just poor writing within Venom itself, too. Like, 1 minute...
Oh, yeah.
You know
like,
what I'm talking about?
Do you remember, like, in, like, the final fight, when, like, Venom's, like, going after Riot,
yes.
and Riot stops him, and he's like, Venom, get in the rocket, and Venom's like, no, and then Riot just says, then die.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. That was straight up out of the movie. Like, who wrote that?
Exactly. The other thing was, like, the main synopsis of it, too, of it being, like there's a part in the movie that's like, I am evil, and I will take over, like, and you're gonna do as I say, and then, like, later on, he's just like, I want to protect the people because I want to live here and I love everyone. And I'm like,
I changed my mind.
Yeah, exactly. When did you change your mind?
Like this happened off screen when he was like in the Chihuahua.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I got excited when that happened.
I've seen
like he just
Chihuahua.
Like infected himself in like the little small dog, and I got excited. Like a symbiote dog I was like ready for it to like start attacking people. I was so ready, but that was like 5 seconds.
We saw Andy's pro moment within this. He liked the Chihuahua. Do you see where Venom is going wrong in this, everybody? It's not even Venom. He liked
More Venom dog.
We want more Venom dog.
More Venom dog. That should have been the post-credit scene.
Yeah. But like overall with Venom, I was told by my manager at the movie theater that if you go into it thinking like it's a buddy cop film, then it's actually enjoyable because you're laughing your butt off all the way through it. But the thing that this is bad because what they're trying to do originally was make it an action creepy thriller. So if I'm laughing all the way through it and you want me to get creeped out and uncomfortable about it, Sony, you have a problem.
I mean, uncomfortable laughter would have worked.
Yeah.
That almost happened with the She-Venom thing.
Literally, the inside joke at my job right now at the movie theater is like, what are you eating for dinner? Chocolate milk and tater tots. Because that's what Venom's is like, I'm hungry, give me chocolate milk and tater tots. Like, that's what he's going on about the whole time. And it's just like, this isn't Venom. This is like someone's inner, like,
this is a Tumblr user.
Yeah, this is a Tumblr user speaking their inner thoughts, like, I'm really hungry right now.
Tater tots.
Yeah, hungry.
Chocolate.
Like, it's just like he's having an argument with himself over like him really wanting food. And that's just not how Venom is.
Yeah. You remember when like in the forest he was like, on my planet, I was kind of a loser. It's like,
just like you.
Really? Yeah. Venom is a loser?
Yeah.
No!
But
does this look like a loser?
I mean,
come on!
He's gonna eat my face off.
Exactly.
But Andy, then here's the question for you: where would you give a rating on this movie then?
Oof. Oh, that's kind of difficult. Like, it's not like Suicide Squad bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's some competence there, but like, between like other comic book movies, I'd place this like slightly below Batman v Superman.
Whoa.
And I hate Batman v Superman a lot.
Right. I would say I'd give it at least a 3 out of 10 because it did make me laugh, but I'll give it a 3 because
like,
of the fact it wasn't being portrayed of what it wanted it to be.
Like, it took some things out of like the MCU movies that it thought would work and just didn't.
It didn't.
Like, it felt like Phase 1 Marvel movies. But we're on like Phase 3.
Yeah.
Where like it's all incredible movies every single time.
Right.
You can't just like go back to Phase 1.
Right.
You gotta like kick it off strong.
Well then, overall, this has been our review of Venom. If you guys still want to go check it out, go and check it out if you feel...
Please don't.
I'd say go check it out if you want to laugh. It's a comedy. And that's saying something of how bad this is in a way. It's like, go and see the comedy Venom.
Go and laugh at where it doesn't want you to laugh.
Exactly. But overall, then, we'll be back after here answering the question that probably some people are starting to wonder since we gotten this show started is, what is me and Andy's like favorite movies? And we're going to be bringing that up here after this commercial break. Hello, everybody, and we are back. Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Aaron Miller.
I'm Andrew Vick.
And this is the part of the show now where I feel like it's time we answer the question, what is our favorite movies? So we thought we'd answer that question finally, and we are so excited to share these movies with you. And maybe if you haven't seen them, go and check them out for yourselves. So you may be wondering, what is Aaron's favorite movie? My all-time favorite since I was like 8 years old. I had only a VCR tape of it, but thankfully from my sister, she got me the whole box set of it a year later, because I just kept on watching it repeatedly for months, is Back to the Future. 1985 it came out, and it is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it, and just so you know, the reason why I'm bringing this up now too is because Back to the Future, I call this Back to the Future weekend coming up here. I'm going to be watching the whole thing because I've made it a ritual that I only watch it once a year so I don't get sick of it. Because in part 2 of this movie, they go to the future on October 21st, 2015. So I watch it on October 21st every year. So with that being said, if you don't know what Back to the Future is about, pretty much the synopsis is, can we get a zoom in on the toys here. I'm going to show you through via toy. This is how big of a fan I am of Back to the Future. Get a good look of all this merchandise. It's great. You get a look at that. All right, so these are the toys right here. Here you have the DeLorean time machine. And this is Marty McFly. He's a teenager in high school in 1985. And this is Doc Brown, okay? So Doc Brown has invented this time machine called the DeLorean. It goes up to 88 miles per hour to go to anywhere in time they please. And what happens with that is, well, pretty much what happens is that when they're in the middle of the parking lot, Doc Brown gets killed. Oh no! And then Marty goes to the future in the DeLorean. And
he went backwards.
Oh yeah, sorry. He goes to the past.
Goes to the past.
And he's like, don't worry, Doc, I'm gonna save you, blah, blah, blah. And then, so then what happens next is that Marty shows up in 1955. And this is a younger Doc now in 1955. And he's like, Doc, you gotta help me. I gotta get back to the future or whatever. Like, I'm not in my normal time. He's like, don't worry, Marty. We'll get you back to the future and everything will be totally cool and totally rad. So then they fix it, and while he's doing that, he's trying to, he ran into his parents, and so with that, they never met, and he almost erases out of existence. So because of that, he's got to get his parents back together, and on top of that, get the DeLorean back in working order by having it go into a clock tower at 88 miles per hour at the stroke of midnight, hitting a lightning bolt that hits the back of the flux capacitor into the DeLorean. It's very an intense moment. The music is intense in that scene as well. It's great. And that's just the first one. I'm not going to go too deep into it. So why don't we take a look at the slides as well, kind of give you more an idea of what this movie is about. So this is a signature scene here involving the DeLorean. This is the scene where they're at the parking lot, and it's driving right at them at 88 miles per hour, and right before you think it runs them over, it leaves a fire trail right at the end of it. And that is a signature shot that is so amazing, and I love it to this day. And then continuing on to the next slide here, this is in part 2 of the movie. Notice now the DeLorean has a hover conversion. It's floating in the air. So they go to the future. It's flying around now, and it's super cool that way. And then in part 3, they go to the Wild West in 1885. So as you can see, with Back to the Future, you get all these different timelines that they're dealing with. He has to rewrite the timeline from going to the future back to 1955, and then he has to save Doc, who's stuck in 1885 because the DeLorean got struck by lightning and sent him back while they were in a hover conversion in part 2. It's an exciting story that continues going on. In fact, it was such a cultural significance. Take a look at how many other things that were involved in this. Let's go to the next slide here. It was made into a video game, not the movie itself, but think of this as a sequel. This is what I like to say, part 4 of Back to the Future that was finally made for Back to the Future fans. It's a video game. It is super fun, and it continues off by, yes, we went to the Wild West. We went to the Wild West, and we did a whole bunch of other things. But now in this one, you meet a young Doc Brown, and with that, you go and literally go around in the 1920s, and you try and break Doc out of jail, who's blamed for burning down a speakeasy and stuff like that. And it continues from there, and it foils out. Play the video game if you're a fan of Back to the Future.
Made by the same guys who did the Walking Dead game.
Yeah,
Wolf Among Us, Batman.
Telltale did that, and it's fantastic. But
Rest in peace.
Continue on with more video game aspect of it. They also did a connection with Rocket League as well. So
hold on, that's in Rocket League?
That's it. Yeah, the DeLorean's in Rocket League.
I gotta play Rocket League.
Yeah, every time I play Rocket League, I gotta play as the DeLorean, and it's great. So then continuing on to that as well, I have actually sat in a DeLorean before as well. This is in my neighborhood. And it's really cool that my grandpa got to live next to a guy who owned a DeLorean. So it was really cool, and I thank the guy for letting me get a good look in there. And pretty much this is my dream car. I hope to one day own this bad boy. And so with that, that is a lot of things that I really love about Back to the Future. Again, as you can tell, really big fan. And if you're curious what this was over here, this is a big deluxe book of how they created the movie. They have a bunch of little things in there like letters and everything. Like, this is the letter that Marty writes to Doc about him getting killed in the future, and a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that I really enjoy reading. But yeah, that's a little bit of synopsis, and I'm glad I guess I took over and kind of got really into it of explaining the story with the toys. So there you go. That's how childish I am. I play with my toys on TV for you guys to kind of see what Back to the Future is all about, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It is on my UWEC TV10. Or my TV10.uwec.edu. It is on Swank for that. So the whole trilogy is on there. I've checked that. So if you guys want to go and check that out, that is more than willing for you guys to go and check out. Otherwise, then, this has been my favorite movie, but after this commercial break, we're going to be going to Andy, and he's going to be discussing his favorite movie. So we'll see you right after this.
And we are back with a much cleaner table because I apparently left all my stuff back in my hometown. But yeah, my favorite movie is the original Star Wars, also known as Episode 4, A New Hope. It's just an instant classic. Like, how can you not have seen this movie so far? It's been out since
great.
The 70s.
I like the classics the best.
Oh yeah, me too. They're always the pure best films. I've also got this lightsaber that I got at GeekCon last year, hashtag not sponsored. Lights up, and it's absolutely incredible. It's the one Luke used in the original, in Episode 4 and 5.
Of A New Hope. And, oh yeah, and
Empire Strikes Back, yeah. And the one Anakin used in Episode 3 to slaughter children. Want to see some moves?
Yeah, I'd be happy to see that actually. Can we get that?
We'll do a lightsaber fight during the Star Wars episode.
Here, yeah, go over there, Andy. I want to see your Jedi moves. Yeah, don't break into the lights, or Matt Peterson will. Yeah.
Budget Star Wars.
Here, don't worry. Here, I'll just hold this, and I will make it sound. Yeah, here. Okay, here we go. Go for it. Make the noises.
Go. Wait. This is amazing.
This is absolutely incredible, right? Are you seeing this guy right now? He's true Jedi. Look at him. It's amazing.
I have complete True Jedi on Lego Star Wars, the complete saga. No one can beat me. I'm unstoppable.
All right. There we go. All right. So just talking to the mic the rest of the time like that.
I'll try my best.
But yeah, why don't you, besides the lightsabers, probably some people I've even heard have never seen Star Wars. So if you were to, Andy, get somebody on the bandwagon to watching Star Wars for the first time, what would be one key thing that you would want people to know about Star Wars then?
I'd say that Star Wars is one of the greatest modern stories of all time. It's just an instant classic.
It's an American classic.
I remember
story.
watching a documentary in school about the making of the original film, and it was just an absolute disaster. But the fact that it came out as well as it did was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Every single character is likable. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin. They're just all incredible icons that
everyone related to one of those characters somehow.
Exactly, and just spawned a massive franchise full of so many characters and places and people and terrible sequels. We'll talk about that another day,
yeah.
I guess. But Star Wars is mostly in my blood. I remember as a kid, I watched the original film on VHS all the time. I'm pretty sure it was the first special edition with the first set of all the bad CGI, but I just remember being so entranced and immersed in the world that it just bonded with me so hard that I just can't see my life without Star Wars at all. No matter what, the ups and downs, the Clone Wars, the Last Jedi, the prequels, the sequels, no matter what happens, I will always connect with the first 3 films. And personally, the first one is my most favorite. I know Empire Strikes Back is technically the best, but A New Hope just resonated with me so much that it's just incredible. You can never forget your first time seeing Star Wars.
Yeah.
The first time you hear about the Force, the first trench run you see, the first escape from the Death Star, the first time you see the Millennium Falcon, you never forget that. that's just
agree.
always in your head. It's just so iconic and so memorable. George Lucas created like an absolute masterpiece out of what was thought to be a disaster.
What's even more amazing is that he did this on a very cheap budget.
Oh yeah, it was like kind of cheap for the time.
And it blew everyone away with the special effects he created in his mind with these cheap ideas.
Oh yeah, all like the little like practical like models and explosions.
It was a revolution. It was a revolutionary cinematic masterpiece in the 1970s when it came out. Everyone saw it. It was like Avengers: Infinity War. Everyone had to see it like 5 times. Like that's how big Star Wars was at the time.
It was absolutely incredible. I love this movie so much.
Yeah. But otherwise then, how we say it in the studio, that's a wrap. It's been great talking about our favorite movies to you guys. We've had a spectacular review and great discussion of Venom here today. And we've been glad to inform you guys of the new Aladdin that will be coming out next summer here. Otherwise, I'm Aaron Miller.
I'm Andrew Vick.
And we will see you real soon.